Breaking news coming in. The ED will file an application before the Dominican court tomorrow giving details of the crime committed by Mehul Choksi and on what grounds he can be deported to India. The ED's application, sources say, will make a strong case for India. The agency, through government, is trying to ensure that matters should not be stuck into legalities and should be deported as soon as possible to India. Series of meetings have taken place between Indian officials and the Dominican officials. So things are moving quite fast as far as the extradition of Mehul Choksi is concerned. That's the latest that we're bringing in. ED is going to be filing an application before the Dominican court tomorrow, giving details of all the crime committed by Mehul Choksi and what grounds he can be deported into India. Munish Pandey joining us for the latest. Munish, the ED's application perhaps is going to now finally make a strong case for India. What do your sources in ED indicate as far as the extradition of Mehul is concerned?
Well, Chati, India knows this very well. This is a golden opportunity to bring back Mehul Choksi, who's absconding since January 2018. Now, as far as the Enforcement Directorate is concerned, what we have been given to understand is that there is an affidavit, there is an application which has been prepared by the officials of Enforcement Directorate, and tomorrow when the case of Mehul Choksi will come up for hearing before the Dominican court, then ED will be filing this application, this affidavit before the court. Now there are several details in the affidavit. First of all, ED will explain that how Mehul Choksi is still an Indian citizen. Second is the details of his criminality, the nature of crime which he has committed while defrauding 13,500 crore from Punjab National Bank along with Nirav Modi. Also, that how he is not cooperating with the investigative agencies, and since 2018, there is a red corner notice against Mehul Choksi by the Interpol. So all this, according to ED, will make a strong case for India, and that is why this application will be filed before the Dominican court tomorrow. This is an exclusive news break which we have got through our sources within the Enforcement Directorate. Also, Chati, we have been given to understand is that there have been series of meetings with the Dominican authorities of Indian officials who are in Dominica at this point of time. And during these meetings, some documents containing sensitive evidence against Mehul Choksi, those documents and evidence have been shared with the Dominican authorities so that the prosecution in Dominica can make a strong case against Mehul Choksi. So these are going to be very crucial as far as Mehul Choksi's deportation to India is concerned.
All right, Manish, thanks so much for joining us with the very latest details right there. India Today has dug deeper into PNB scamster Mehul Choksi's mysterious escape into Dominica from Antigua. India Today has accessed 2 documents of a yacht that ferried Choksi in a hush-hush fashion to Dominica, possibly after being lured and honey-trapped by a mysterious girl. The document from Antigua Immigration Department says that the yacht left on 23rd of May for Dominica, a journey of 190 kilometers. The journey could not have normally taken 3 days, but documents from Dominica Immigration show that the yacht arrived on 25th of May. The Dominican opposition now claims that the 3-day gap in Choksi's itinerary confirms that he was abducted as a part of an elaborate operation by India, Antigua and Dominica.
Everybody in Dominica knows that Mehul Choksi arrived in Dominica or came into Dominica on the night of in the evening of the 23rd, Sunday the 23rd of May. Now, it's interesting because the Customs and Immigration clearance documents from Antigua indicate that the vessel on which Choksi is supposed to have arrived in Dominica left Antigua at 10 o'clock on Sunday morning, the 23rd. They were coming straight to Dominica. That's the next port. That would have put them here, except they had some difficulty at sea, on Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening sometime. And that is what the locals in the area report, that the boat actually came in on the 23rd. Removal of Choksi from Antigua and bringing him to Dominica. Immediately after, we hear talk about him being sent directly back to India, suggests that there is a plan afoot to subvert the legal process that has been engaged in this jurisdiction. And in other words, an undermining of the judiciary in this jurisdiction. But the Dominican authorities also need to consider, how is it that we got ourselves into this situation where the country appears to be going along with a plan to subvert the judicial process in the region and have Mehul Choksi out of Antigua, where the Prime Minister says he enjoys constitutional protection and privileges.
Geeta Mohana, Foreign Affairs Editor, is now joining us for the very latest on this. Geeta, what's your sense? You know, now he's no longer in Antigua, he's in Dominica now, and then there is a theory going on that there was an abduction to bypass extradition process. How do you see these developments, and what lies ahead as far as his extradition to India is concerned?
Well, Chetty, a very interesting turn of events. Look at the documents that we have accessed. The discrepancy in what the Antiguan customs clearance says to what the Dominican customs clearance says. Clearly, there has been some sort of forgery and falsified documents that have been produced, which shows that there is a cover-up operation. The larger question over here is that why would Mehul Choksi leave Antigua when he had about 8 to 9 months before the Privy Council over there actually gave their decision on the extradition, as also on Mehul Choksi's citizenship. Having said that, it is a very important, like Manish Pandey has been reporting and saying, it is a very important aspect. The fact that he's in Dominica, the fact that Indian officials are there, and this could very well be an opportunity for India to get him deported. But laws of the land are important, Chetty. Respecting rules is very important. Bypassing them will not be taken lightly by opposition parties in any country that would use that as an opportunity, which is what is being done over here as well. Opposition parties in Antigua and Barbuda, as also in Dominica, are questioning the manner in which this entire operation has taken place, whether it was out of his own volition or per force. The fact is that there are discrepancies, and the court is going to look at that and take that into account. So tomorrow is going to be a very important day. We'll have to see how the Dominican courts decide whether to repatriate him to Antigua or to deport him to India. India is trying very hard, engaging Dominica to ensure that that happens with the documents that have been provided, but the discrepancies are not going to be amiss, and not going to be ignored by the courts.
All right, Geeta, leave it at that. Geeta getting us all the latest details right there. Let's also get you what next for Mehul Choksi and possible scenarios that can really play out. On your screens right now, the first case scenario, Dominican court says he entered the country illegally and should serve punishment there. That's the one possibility of how the scenario could pan out. Number two, what can happen is deported to Antigua, since he's an Antiguan citizen. So he gets deported to Antigua instead of India. Then, number three, what is the third possibility? He extradited to India because of the red corner notice, and his Indian citizenship was never cancelled. So that is also a very strong possibility. Manish is now joining us for the latest. Manish, these are the three possibilities that we highlighted for our viewers, what could perhaps happen as far as Mehul Choksi is concerned. At the moment, you've been tracking the Enforcement Directorate too. Your sources are giving out a lot of information as far as Mehul Choksi is concerned. Bring our viewers up to speed with the latest as far as the ED goes.
Yeah, well, Chetty, any extradition or deportation process involves legality. And as far as Mehul Choksi is concerned, remember, he was arrested by the Dominican authorities, by the Dominican police, based on the yellow notice issued by Interpol on the request of Antigua. So the first right of, first right on Mehul Choksi as far as deportation is concerned is definitely Antigua. But as far as India is concerned, remember, there is already a red corner notice, and red corner notice is much more serious than a yellow notice. And any person who has, no matter what the nationality is, if any person has been arrested in any country, he can be deported back to the country where he is wanted. And as far as Dominica is concerned, Mehul Choksi has been arrested for illegally entering into the country. So that is why India has a very golden opportunity, because based on the red corner notice, Mehul Choksi can be deported directly to India. This is what sources are telling us, and that is why ED is now have gone all out. They have prepared an affidavit, they have prepared an application, and this application will be filed before the court tomorrow, so that they can be able to convince the court that this man, which is in your custody, he is wanted of a very serious economic fraud. He is wanted from January 2018, and if he is left to go to any other country, then again it will be, it will be a long process, because if he goes back to Antigua, India knows that the extradition case will take years to get over, and then only he can be extradited to India. But deportation is a very small process. He can be deported back to India, and that is why ED and CBI, both the agencies, are all out with the Indian officials to make sure that this time Mehul Choksi is back to India and to face the law of land. Jyoti.
And thank you for joining us, Manish, for the latest details right there. There's a lot of mystery surrounding Mehul Choksi's trip to Dominica. And at the center of this mystery is some woman. The Antiguan Prime Minister claims that this woman is Choksi's girlfriend, who he took on a romantic getaway. Mehul Choksi's lawyer alleges that the woman was a part of an elaborate conspiracy to abduct him and take him out of Antigua. Geeta Mohan and Manish Pandey with this report.
A pleasure trip with his girlfriend on a yacht, lured by a woman and then abducted to Dominica, or escape to Cuba gone horribly wrong. Mehul Choksi missing from the Caribbean nation Antigua and surfacing in Dominican custody 2 days later, replete with multiple unanswered questions, claims and counters. India today has learned that Choksi was indeed with a girl when he landed in Dominica, and that it appears to be a case of being honey-trapped. Sources say the woman was staying in Antigua and sometime back started meeting Mehul Choksi during his morning and evening walks. She also befriended him and later, on May the 23rd, called him to an apartment to meet her. But when Choksi reached the apartment, many people were already there who allegedly abducted, kidnapped and took Mehul Choksi to Dominica, where he was arrested. Choksi's lawyers, however, say the girl was part of the team which was involved in the alleged abduction and torture of Choksi.
एक महिला थी जो उनके पड़ोस में आकर रहती थी और फिर उन्होंने शिफ्ट कर लिया था, तो उनकी फैमिली में भी आना जाना था। इवनिंग में वॉक पे मिल जाते थे दोनों आपस में। तो जो है इन्होंने, वो लेडी पहले शिफ्ट हुई थी और जो पूरा पता चल रहा है कि वो भी इस ऑपरेशन का हिस्सा थी। तो इनको ट्रैप करने के लिए वो लेडी को सीड किया गया था।
The revelation comes days after Antiguan Prime Minister Gaston Brown claimed that Mehul Choksi had fled to Dominica on a romantic trip with his girlfriend.
The information that we're getting now is that he may have taken his girlfriend to Dominica, probably to dinner to have a good time and so on, and got caught. Now, that would have been a monumental error.
Amidst the twists and turns, India today has accessed a fresh set of Choksi pictures from the Dominican hospital where he was admitted. Choksi is seen with apparent injury marks on his body, which his lawyers claim are due to beating and electric shocks given to him.
बॉडी पे इतनी सारी इंजरीज हैं, आपने देखा फेस पे इतनी सारी इंजरीज हैं, आंख फूटी हुई है। तो ये जो इंजरीज हैं ये इलेक्ट्रिकल शॉक से दी गई इंजरीज हैं और ये जेन्युइन इंजरीज हैं। और जब उनको उठाया गया फोर्सिबली या एंटीगा से और यॉच पे रखा गया और फिर पुलिस स्टेशन ले जाया गया, तो ये उस बीच के दौरान की ये सारी की सारी इंजरीज हैं।
Choksi may also have used forged papers to escape Antigua with his girlfriend. India today spoke to the travel firm believed to have ferried him to Antigua. The firm under fire now claims it never transported Choksi or his girlfriend.
Based on the photos that are circulating, I did not see anybody of that look on this particular boat, or not the boat or anybody that we did clearances for. Nevertheless, this boat that came in did not have any woman on board.
The Antiguan Prime Minister earlier claimed that Choksi has been bribing the opposition there to escape extradition. The claim was, however, denied by local politicians.
What is happening here, is that they are literally defending the campaign money. So here's a situation in which Choksi had the best law firm representing him. But some UPP individuals befriended him, started to take money from him, small contributions. And he promised them big contributions since they told him that they will get their UPP lawyers to get him off the hook. And that if they win the next general elections, that they will protect him.
When Mr. Choksi was taken to Dominica, our understanding is that he eventually was detained, but the persons who brought him there were never detained. But the fact that only he was detained would suggest that those who brought him there had some form of cover. And I wouldn't want to prejudge the matter, but I'm simply saying that that's a question that I would want to see answered.
Choksi's Caribbean caper is no less than a Bollywood thriller. Did the star fraudster himself fall victim to an elaborate fraud, or staged an elaborate stunt to hoodwink India once again? With Geeta Mohan in Delhi, Bureau Report, India Today.
There are several unanswered questions at this point. Who was the girl who accompanied Mehul Choksi? Where is the girl who accompanied Mehul Choksi now? These are the unanswered questions we're bringing to you on your screen right now. Where is she? Where is this mystery girl we're talking about who accompanied Mehul Choksi? Did the girl lure and abduct Choksi as claimed by his team? Was that a honey trap? That's another question. And how is it that Choksi and the girl got to Dominica? That's another big question. Did Choksi and this particular mystery girl forge papers to enter Dominica or not? These are some unanswered questions at this point of time. Mehul Choksi is now in jail in Dominica. On Saturday, the first images of Mehul Choksi surfaced from behind the jail. Bruised and injured, here's our report.
Trouble mounts for fugitive businessman Mehul Choksi, lodged in a Dominican jail. On Saturday, the first images of the diamond tear surfaced from behind the jail. A bruised Choksi could be seen with a red eye and lacerations on his arm. A pale shadow of his earlier self, Choksi appeared visibly thin and almost dazed behind bars. Now an Indian plane awaits for Choksi in Dominica, with documents from Indian courts to confirm that Choksi is a fugitive, which may lead to his deportation to India.
I can confirm that there's a jet there. My understanding is that the Indian government has sent certain documentation from the courts in India to confirm that, Mr. Choksi is indeed a fugitive. And my understanding, the documentation will be utilized in the court case that will be heard, or the court hearing next Wednesday.
But opposition leader in Antigua slammed his government for requesting direct extradition of Mehul Choksi to India, claiming that Choksi is a citizen of Antigua.
The fact is, the process started here in Antigua quite rightly with a request from the Indian government. Mr. Choksi wasn't just located in Antigua. He's a citizen of Antigua and Barbuda. How can you send someone to a country where they have no citizenship and no right to reside? It has to be Antigua and Barbuda because he's not a citizen of India.
This is a golden opportunity for India to bring back Mehul Choksi, because if he goes back to Antigua, then the extradition proceeding will take years to get over. While Mehul Choksi is using the alleged torture marks on his body to avoid coming back to India, the Indian authorities, according to sources, are already in Dominica to convince the authorities and court there that he is a mastermind of a very serious crime and he should be deported back to India as soon as possible. With Geeta Mohan, this is Munish Pandey in Delhi for India Today.
So, explaining Choksi's Caribbean caper, theory number one, he was on a pleasure trip with his girlfriend and that went terribly wrong when he went for a holiday with his girlfriend. Number two, he was probably snared while escaping to Cuba. That is also a strong possibility. Theory number three, he escaped Antigua, fearing deportation as well. Number four, abducted forcibly, taken to Dominica. That's the fourth theory floating around. The fifth theory that's floating around is that he used forged documents to travel. So these are the five theories that are floating around as far as Mehul Choksi is concerned. By all means, it appears that Mehul Choksi cannot evade the law anymore. From fleeing India in Jan 2018 to taking refuge in Antigua and now his detention in Dominica. Is this endgame for Mehul Choksi? Here's our report.
Where is Mehul Choksi? That was the question that plagued Indian investigative agencies, and the fugitive diamond heir has been tracked down. He's hopped from one Caribbean island country to another by boat. From Antigua, Choksi made his way to Dominica, a country surrounded by emerald blue seas. It's called the nature island of the Caribbean. Choksi perhaps had plans of relaxing on this beautiful island. What he didn't expect is the swift action by Indian authorities in notifying the Interpol. Choksi has now been detained in Dominica, and it looks like he could be deported straight to India.
Our specific request to the government of Dominica is to have Mr. Choksi deported and be repatriated directly to India, not to send him back to Antigua and Barbuda where he's a citizen, and one in which he will enjoy certain constitutional and legal protections.
Choksi's lawyer, meanwhile, has contested this, claiming the Diamond Heir is no longer a citizen of India and hence can only be deported back to Antigua. Choksi fled from India first in January 18, remember. Months later, reports suggested he was in America, but then was tracked down to Antigua in the Caribbean, where he'd gotten citizenship. But on the 23rd of May this year, he went missing and was last seen leaving his residence in his car. And now he's been nabbed in Dominica. The question now is, will he be sent straight back to India, or is there more to see in this hunt for one of India's biggest thieves?
Extradition or deportation of any wanted accused depends upon the diplomatic relationship between two countries. And after India's donation of COVID-19 vaccines to Dominica, the relationship between both these countries are at peak. Sources say, in principle, Dominica has agreed to deport Mehul Choksi directly to India, and legal hurdles are being worked out by the authorities of both the countries. Sources say if everything goes well, then within few days, Mehul Choksi will be back to India. With Gautam Mohan in Delhi, this is Munish Pandey for India Today.